Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 4 to the 7 podcast. I last got you guys on here on a live stream, I should say, right after the Yankees swept the Red Sox. They have since won 4 games out of the 6 that they've played, and the Mets, well, they came back and won that game against the Twins and took the series. They got swept by the Rockies, which is beyond pathetic, and they are currently tied 1-1 in a series against the Nationals. I'm filming this at 12:30 in the afternoon because I'm not waiting until after the rubber game is over to talk about the Mets, because if they lose today, then it's going to be they just got lost 2 out of 3 to the crappy Nationals, and the pitcher that they're throwing today, the Nationals, I should say, has an 8.5 ERA. And the Mets have Freddie Peralta, who should be their ace going today, but Freddie Peralta has not pitched like an ace this year. And if they win today, it's we won 2 of the 3 series on the homestand. Even though if you go deeper into the games, the homestand was horrible, right? You can't get swept by the Rockies, and now you're going on the road. And they're going to play a road series. I believe they're going to Anaheim, and Colorado might not be in that order. So, a lot to talk about in the landscape of New York baseball tonight. So, we'll start with the Yankees. They went down to Houston. Now, they have dominated in Houston since the 2022 ALCS, and I posted this on X before the series began last Friday. Since they got swept in the 2022 ALCS in Houston, going into Friday's game, their record was unbelievable. Against the Astros, they have been very good. I think they've only lost one series in that span, and they split one, and that was they split the series in 2023 at Yankee Stadium. They split 4, and then in 2023 they split at the same. 2025, the Yankees lost 2 out of 3 against them in the Bronx. Took 2 of 3 against them down in Houston, and that was because they lost the 2 out of 3 in the Bronx because Devin Williams blew that big save on Friday night. And then the Sunday game, Max Free got boned when they missed a strike call on him. That would have been strike 3 end of the inning, and then he went on and gave like 3 doubles up, and it was bad. So the Yankees have actually had some success against the Astros in recent seasons, which is good to see. You want the Yankees to be good against a rival. I'm trying to get here, I got it here. Because Josh Reddick went on Crush City territory, which is if you listen to Foul Territory, a lot of the teams have like their own versions of the show. So Crush City is, for whatever reason, the Astros version. Chandler Rome, who covers the team for The Athletic and is a spectacular journalist. And if you don't read him and listen to him for, only for me going down there and maybe immediately after previewing a series to get when the Yankees are going down there, I highly recommend. And this is no means I have no relationship at all with Chandler, but I'll give him props here. So this I tweeted out on Friday before the game, quoting what Josh Reddick had to say, because it's like there's a postseason atmosphere because we own the Yankees, and it's like, well, no, number one, you cheated, and number two, since the 2022 ALCS, New York is 14-6 against Houston, 9-1 in 10 games in Houston. They are now 11-2 since the ALCS in Houston. They are now 16-7. So really, really good numbers. Yankees, Astros down or against the Astros since getting swept in the playoffs. So the two territory, and they dominated. Friday night they blew them out. The game was over before Warren took the mound. Saturday, Weathers pitched and actually pitched pretty well, I thought. Weathers, I think, looked good Saturday, and then the offense got going against their bullpen, and the bullpen came in and walked 10 batters in like 2 innings, and the game was over. And then game 3, the Yankees lost. It was down to literally the final at bat. I mean, if that ball from Caballero is an inch higher, right, that's at least a single, ties another run, and scores another run, and the tying run's at the plate. So it would have been panic time with Abreu coming into the game, who has struggled against the Yankees mightily in his career, including last year giving up the home run to Bellinger in the game where everyone got thrown out. So the Yankees went down to Houston and took care of business. They took 2 of 3. Nothing can be said in Texas. Now, the Texas series this past week was very fluky. You're going to look at the offensive numbers and be like, Trent Grisham had a bad series. Jazz Chisholm had a bad series. You know, the only 2 guys who really had good series were Ben Rice and Aaron Judge. And, you know, Austin Wells had a home run in one of the 2 games he played in. But then if you look deeper into the numbers, everyone was robbed of hits at least once this series. I mean, there were balls everywhere that were hard hit. Grisham was robbed of a bunch of extra base hits in the series, been doubles. The dimensions of the ballpark robbed home runs that are out in like 20 of 30 ballparks. I'm not saying like short porch shots, and there were definitely some. But I'm saying there were balls in that ballpark that were, you know, 20 of 30 ballparks. And, I mean, that makes a difference. So the Yankees will take on the Rangers next week. They'll get the same matchups, except for Leiter. They won't face Leiter. They'll instead face Mackenzie Gore, it looks like, who's a lefty. He'll be their next lefty. Because the Orioles have not announced starters for this weekend, but they put lefty Trevor Rogers on the injured list last night, or Taylor, whatever. The lefty Rogers, I'll just say. It's just the easiest way to say it, because I don't know. I get all the names confused. There's like 5 Rogers in the league. So to be fair, but the Orioles, who are, you know, they're playing a doubleheader against the Astros today. I'll have it on it probably in here. I have the Mets on the TV. They're doing the pregame right now. They were showing Bo Bichette grounding out and flying out, and it's like, oh my God, he's grounding and flying out into luck, and it's like, that's not entirely accurate, but whatever. Yeah, they're doing their Bo Bichette circle jerk right now on SNY because that's what they're showing his best defensive highlights, but they won't show the play last night that led to the grand slam. And we'll get to the Mets. The Mets are an unmitigated disaster. They stink. Watch them. They can't do anything right. If Freddie Peralta goes out there today and gives up 6 shutout innings and it's 1-0 Mets going into the 7th, the bullpen's going to blow it. The Washington Nationals are a pretty solid offense, and we saw that last night in the 7-run third inning, or fourth inning, the 7-run inning. And then you have to pull Peterson because he can't get out of his own way. So then we're going to go to Manaea. Well, guess what? There's a reason Sean Manaea is not in the starting rotation this year. I'm not even a Mets fan. I'm getting this hit hot. Sean Manaea is not even in the starting rotation this year. You know why? Because the Mets didn't trust him to put him in the starting rotation because they knew he couldn't pitch. And guess what? He comes in. Paul Skeens has given up 2 home runs in his last 3 batters. 3-0 St. Louis. He hits the leadoff batter. Saga comes on with 2 outs. He hits the first batter he sees to force home a run, and then gives up a grand slam to House, to Brady House. Brady House isn't that good. He's not good. Coming into the game, he had 2 home runs. He's batting .220. He gave up a home run to what? If it was C.J. Abrams or James Woods, I get it. They're good hitters. Brady House, and you hit Brad Lord before him. Those are guys you have to get out in that national lineup. They're not the 98 Yankees. And neither are the Rockies, who brought a AAA team into Citi Field and swept them. The 18-inning exhibition of baseball on Sunday, the doubleheader, was the worst 18 innings of baseball I have ever seen. I had the Yankees on my TV and the Mets on my iPad for game 1. You know, I'd look over every few minutes. Mets are still doing nothing. Okay. Good to see that they're getting guys on base that can't do shit. Cool. Freddie Peralta couldn't get out of his own way because, you know, they they want to call him the ace. Guess what? He's proving right now, and today he has a chance to change that in my mind a little bit because it's against an NL East rival at home, and you need to kind of win today. He's not New York material. I'm glad the Yankees didn't trade for him watching the way he's pitched. He hasn't pitched that well. He's a 5-and-dive guy. He gives you 5 innings, throws 100 pitches in those 5 innings. Goodbye, jackpot, he's gone. He's not. What I look for in good starting, this is where the Yankees come in. They give you length. Elmer Rodriguez didn't give you length yesterday, which is part of the reason they lost. They didn't hit Nathan Eovaldi, who they made look like Cy Young yesterday, which is inexcusable. But that always happens, it seems. But Max Fried and Cam Schlittler go 6, 7, 8 innings every time out. And if they don't, it's the rule, it's the exception, not the rule. Right? Ryan Weathers is given length. Will Warren, that's what he needs to work on, is giving length. And the way they come back and they're built up enough, Cole and Rodon are going to give you length. And that's kind of hidden the biggest problem with the Yankees so far. The biggest problem with the Yankees isn't the lineup. It isn't the starting pitching, it's the bullpen. Their bullpen's a disaster. And we can get on David Bednar for what happened in the 3-game series where 2 of the games he was on the ropes. He saved them both, and I have to note. But in both of them, there were errors that extended the inning. I think that if it's 2 outs, nobody on, no one even gets on in the Texas game in Game 2. But McMahon makes the error at third base. Game 1, inexcusable by Jazz error. And the play before it, Jazz should have made. So, Jazz and McMahon were responsible for the runs that scored in those 9th innings. So, from a Yankee perspective, David Bednar, I think, he's going to walk the tightrope. He always does. That's his MO. He walks the tightrope. He likes to make you sweat a little bit. But as long as you get the job done, that's what matters. Is you get the job done, and he did. Because I think every Yankee fan's memory went back to the past 2 times they were in Texas, where this is the first Texas trip since 2023 where they got swept, that they're coming home and they know who the closer is. The past 2 times they were in 2024, I think it was Wyatt Langford hit the walk-off grand slam against Clay Holmes, 1 out, and it was like, all right, he can't close anymore. And last year, Devin Williams gives up he had the 1-run lead, gave up the home run to Jock Peterson, and then Jake Bird in the 10th inning gave up the walk-off 3-run bomb to Jace Young. So at least David Bednar showed some balls and got the save. And I've also picked up on this with him. He struggles more indoors, right? We look at that Tampa game. We look at some of the games last year in indoor stadiums. He struggled indoors. He's always struggled in Miami, right? We didn't see him at all in Houston, which is good, right? No, we didn't see him. So it was good to see him get the save. Camilo Duvall gave up the home run to Jock, but looked fine other than that. They're going to need him. He needs to be better. Jake Bird, I don't know what the fuck to do with him. He's a mess. Brent Hedrick is Scott Proctor 2.0. If you're a Yankee fan of the 2006 and to I think 2008 he was here, which obviously I'm older than, but know the history enough. I mean, I'm young. I don't remember that. I was 1, but I know the history of it. Scott Proctor was pretty much in every game for Joe Torre. So, we have the new Scott Proctor here, and it's it's Brent Hedrick, but he's been effective. Timmy Hill's been effective. I mean, Brent Hedrick and Tim Hill yesterday, they were great in jams. Fernando Cruz actually didn't look terrible yesterday. Yesterday he didn't look terrible, and the day before he got out of the jam. The day before he puts 2 guys on, it's like, here we go again. Here we go. Go ahead. At the point it was 2-0. Go ahead, run at the plate. Here we go. Oh my God! And then he makes the play on Peterson at third. The play off the bunt of Peterson to third base, and it's like, exhale. Like, okay, that's a big play in this game because now the double plays in order, and there's nobody on third, so a sacrifice can't get a run in. And I think that was the biggest play. And then he ended up striking out Berger and striking out Ezekiel Duran stranded. So Fernando Cruz, they need to figure out. They might need to bump him a bit in the bullpen. And then you ask me, and it's a fair question. Then who do you pitch? What do you do in that bullpen? And it's a really fair question to ask. And I'll be honest, call someone up. I mean, Jack Curry, I'll give credit to the Yankee Report. They caught this. I'm going to grab their tweet right now, put it up on the screen, and really go through it. They caught this. I don't want to take credit for their work. If anything, if I do, okay, I'm going to repost this on my page. So I just reposted because I think their work on this was very good, that they caught this from Jack Curry. I, instead of watching the full post game yesterday, decided to go cook dinner and decided to not bring my phone with me to the kitchen. So this is their tweet. Jack Curry, yes, says that if all goes well, he expects the Yankees rotation to be Fried, Schlittler, Cole, Rodon, Warren, Elmer, and Weathers will go to the bullpen. And then he goes, when they speak, listen. I second that. That seems like that's happening. Now, these things tend to work themselves out with injuries and what have you, but Elmer Rodriguez is better than Paul Blackburn. Ryan Weathers throwing 100 down the back end of that bullpen, and he'd be a 1-inning or 2-inning guy. He might be Michael King as a high leverage guy. He's better than reliever X that they're going to call. He's better than Jake Bird. Let's call it. The Jake Bird trade looks like a bad trade right now. Angel Javi isn't coming back anytime soon, and he wasn't even good. He pitched 2 games. He stunk in both of them. Right? He gave up the home run to Trout, couldn't get out of his own way. And then against the Royals, he almost blew that game. He couldn't throw a strike. But I think the Yankees are fine. Honest to God, and I watch a lot of baseball. I try not to be a shill. Okay? I try not to be a total and complete shill where I only watch the New York teams and then I don't watch anything else. I'll be honest. When I'm done recording this and I have my feet up and I'm doing some stories and reporting and editing and stuff like that, I'll have the Mets on my TV and I'll have probably the Orioles and Astros on my iPad. I try and watch every team around the league. There are days where I'll do work on my iPad, and maybe I'll do that today, and put 4 games on my laptop. Or I'll extend my laptop, that's what I'll do today, and put 4 games on my iPad. There are days I do it. Because I like to know and watch around the league to kind of get a feel and a pulse, right? Because sometimes you look at the box score doesn't always tell the full story. So I'll say this with the Yankees, they're far and away the best team in the American League. I mean, the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday and the day before trounced the Boston Red Sox. Well, what did the Yankees do? They swept the Red Sox last week. The Yankees, and if the Yankees got Brian Bayo, it would have been 11, like it was yesterday up in Toronto. Brian Bayo stinks. And he's standing there shaking off the manager like a puppy, shaking himself off after a bath. Number one, who gave you the right to shake off the manager? You fucking stink. Your ERA's 10 since October, or since last September. That's one. And 2, this guy's brand new. Give him a little bit of confidence here, all right? The manager's new. He's going to pull you because you stink. And you know what? At that point, the game's still in reach. It was the next guy who came in and gave up the grand slam. It wasn't a grand slam. It was a 3-run home run. There's 2 outs and a runner on first, and then they went to Weiser, and he gave up the home run. See, I watched. So I have a pretty good pulse on the league. Atlanta's elite. The Dodgers are elite. And the Yankees are right up there. I think the Yankees in a 7-game series have a better shot this year of beating the Dodgers or the Braves than they did in 24. Because in 2024, they didn't have a first baseman. They have Ben Rice. They didn't have a left fielder. They have Cody Bellinger. They have Aaron Judge. And Judge is in his correct defensive position. Now, they all have to hit. That's contingent. Third base, it was Jazz Chisholm at third base. They had Glaber at second. So they have a real second baseman. Third base, we don't know who's going to be playing third. For all we know, it's going to be George Lombard. Because he's been promoted to AAA. And he could very well be 2 months from today. 2 months from, so July 1st, he could be the the third baseman. I wouldn't be shocked if he's hitting a AAA in a month and a half sample size. I'd pull him up. McMahon stinks, but you put McMahon on the bench, you could bring him in defensively late, and you could slide over Lombard to shortstop or second base wherever it fits. That makes you a better team. Jason Dominguez, you hold your breath with him right now because you don't want him to be hurt. You don't want this for him. All right? He's getting his opportunity. He's getting his shot. He's getting a chance to earn a bench spot. Right? He was on base both bats. He was there yesterday because he put the ball in play or got hit. I don't know how serious it is. I really don't. I don't think it's that serious. The way he made it sound, not serious. We'll see tomorrow. I'd assume that if he has to go on the injured list, it'd be Spencer Jones coming up for a couple of days. I don't know how that would go. I honestly don't. And then you get to the Yankee rotation when we talk about, I think they could beat the Dodgers or the Braves. If you look at the Yankee rotation in the 2024 World Series, they had Garrett Cole, they had Carlos Rodon, they had Luis Gil, Clark Schmidt. That was their rotation because they didn't have Marcus Stroman. They didn't put him on the roster. And Nestor was in the bullpen, as we all know. Luis Gil was borderline unpitchable at that point. Clark Schmidt was hurt half the time, so he couldn't give you length, and he was coming off an injury. And then Rodon's very wild and can be ineffective, and Garrett Cole was Garrett Cole. Now you go into a series against the Dodgers or the Braves, Team X, and it'd be Garrett Cole, then Max Fried, then Cam Schlittler, then Carlos Rodon. Oh, wait, let's not forget about Will Warren or Ryan Weathers or Elmer Rodriguez or Carlos Legrand. Well, Elmer and Carlos are improving, so we'll put them in a different bubble. But you get what I'm saying with this? You go into a series where you have 4 of the top 25 starting pitchers in baseball that are going to come in and pitch you Game 4. Game 4 is one of the top 50 starting pitchers in baseball. No team has that much. Right? The Dodgers, with all their stuff, they're still injury-ridden. Right? Yamamoto's been okay. He almost took the loss the other night. Or did he take the loss? He might have taken the loss. I don't know. He didn't look great the other day. Ohtani's going to be Ohtani. The Yankees have always hit him. What happened to his face? Ohtani's going to be Ohtani. And the Yankees have always hit Ohtani, especially at Yankee Stadium. They always hit Ohtani. Judge has very good numbers against them. And they didn't face him in the World Series a couple years ago. But Cam Schlittler currently leads baseball in pitching. He leads pitching in Fangraphs WAR, which I think is better, and F WAR, which is better than B WAR in my opinion. He leads baseball. The Yankee rotation is one of the 3 best rotations in baseball. And you know what? Their rotation ERA is under 3 if you take Luis Gil out, which I know you can't really butter knife. I'm just saying for the sake of conversation. You know what? They showed urgency in saying, you know what, Luis Heel, you're not cutting it. Bye. Volpe was supposed to return Monday. They don't have faith in him, and I think it's kind of obvious at this point that they're like, well, if we throw him back into this while we're doing pretty good, then it's all of a sudden going to be his fault. Nope, you're going to stay down and continue your rehab assignment. Now, they might have to bring him up over the weekend because that's when his rehab is up. They're not exactly rushing to it, and it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, this isn't source, if he goes right down to AAA and stays down there until an injury or it's time, right? Volpe's been hitting okay in the minors. A lot of line drives, a lot of singles and doubles. Home run, I think only one home run, and I think he's playing again today. The point is, they aren't keeping dead weight on the roster. Grichuk, get out. Goodbye, you stink. Bye. Cut him. Let's bring up Jason Dominguez, who's been hitting in AAA. It's unfortunate that Dominguez got hurt, and that's the caveat. He got hurt. He would have earned playing time. So yeah, the Yankees are in a very good spot right now. I don't want to get over hyperbolic here and say that the Yankees are destined for greatness. Now, I will say, and Cone mentioned it Monday, and I thought it was funny that he mentioned it, and I had said it to others, and said this for a couple weeks now. There's been, since the start of spring training, a feeling around this team that they want it. I don't want to say that last year's team didn't want it, because I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's fair to say about them, because I think all Yankee teams do want it. I think that this team is gunning for a championship. I think the way the things look right now, the Yankees and the Dodgers are on a crash course for a rematch. I think the Yankees are very good. I think they're better than they were a couple of years ago. I think they have a better shot to win than they did at any point. And then if you look at what Ben Wright and Aaron Judge have done, I think I tweeted it out the other day. It's Batman and Robin. Right? Ben Rice is the Robin to Aaron Judge's Batman. It's like having, honestly, I'll say it. Tweet me, troll me, I don't care. If you look at the numbers, it's like having Juan Soto back. And a Juan Soto who can play defense and isn't fucking up everyone else's defensive position. Right? Juan Soto had to play third base. I mean, oh my God, am I wrong? Juan Soto had to play. Juan Soto had to play right field because he was a disaster in left. All the Yankees need to do now is keep on keeping on, I should say. Keep hanging around, doing what they need to do. Taking series. They're going home right now and they're facing Baltimore for 4. It's hard to say take 3 or 4 sweep. Then they'll have Texas again at the stadium. You just took 2 or 3 of them do the same thing. It's like the same matchups. You can do it. And then you're going to get on the road against. So as long as the Yankees just keep on winning and trying and treading water, they're going to be fine. They're going to go through a losing streak where we're all going to be pulling our hairs out. They're probably going to go through another Boone June swoon where we're all pulling our hair out. Ooh. The New York Mets have acquired Andy Ibanez from the Oakland Homeless Athletics, according to Francis Romero, who covers baseball independently. He's very good. Um, so now, that does nothing, but I just want to say that. Water, they're going to go through a losing streak. We all know it. Okay. It happens. We're all going to want to pull our hair out. And hold on. Poly Market coming in with some news here. Ryan Reynolds is a part of an ownership group trying to bring an MLB team to Vancouver. They're called the Vancouver Whitecaps. The bottom line is, you keep winning and you do what good teams do. Okay, the Blue Jays have struggled and they're in a hole. Okay, the way they get out of that hole is by you, the Yankees, letting them get out of the hole. Okay? Because they still have to do a lot to win this division or even make a wild card. Because, they could probably still make the wild card because the American League stinks. They have so many injuries that nothing's given. The only way, though, that they regain ground is by the Yankees allowing them to regain ground. Now, 7 of the 13 matchups the two teams have are at Yankee Stadium, which benefits the Yankees because the last time the Yankees didn't do well up in Toronto, it was 7-6 last time. It's 6-7. So the Yankees will benefit by having them at home, and they get them in a couple of weeks at home. It's time, though, for the Yankees to act like the Yankees of old, because they feel like they can win any day, and put teams away early, and win the division, win the division good, and get into the postseason. And you hope Dominguez is okay, and you hope that Elmer Rodriguez figures this out. I don't think he looked lost yesterday. The kid's got stuff, okay, but 4 walks and hit batsman is not going to cut it. Especially against a good lineup. The Ranger lineup isn't great. It's against a good lineup. He's fucked. So I think Elmer's going to be fine, though. I'm not saying this at the first day jitters. It's indoors. He's never pitched indoors, only in Miami for the WBC, but the minors don't have the indoor games. That plays a factor. We saw all the pitchers in the series labor, right, for the exception of probably Nathan Eovaldi and Jacob deGrom for a bit. And Schlittler outdoing deGrom is just like a Mets fan's fucking hell. Like watching McClain struggle against the Rockies and then they look across town. And every day Schlittler's just every start 6 innings, no runs, 6 innings, 2 runs, 8 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, no runs, 6 innings, 1 run, 5 2/3, 1 run. Schlittler's just keep on keeping on. He's outdueling deGrom. They get to look at this unmitigated shit show up in Queens where Bo Bichette just bounced out on the first pitch he saw from a guy with an ERA of 9. Soto should take him deep. You know what? We're wrapping up the podcast because I'm about to get a food order and I need to go pick up groceries downstairs. Juan Soto's trying to bunt? No, this is a guy with an ERA of 10. We're bunting. You're the one hitter in the lineup. I saw the numbers today. He's hitting 327. The rest of the lineup's hitting 219 combined. And he's bunting? That's a disgrace. He should never bunt. He's a slugger. You don't bunt. Not with this lineup. No, it's the Yankee lineup. You're trying to get out in front of Judge. Yeah, I get it. That one's driven deep in the air to right. Back is Woods. Woods is on the track. He's at the wall. He lost it! Oh, he robbed the home run! Oh my God! Whoa! James Woods just took a home run away from Juan Soto. That was some catch. Wow. That was an incredible play. That pen. All right, that's a good way to wrap it up. If there is ever a Mets way to wrap things up, that's it. That was an incredible play. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Let's go Yankees and Mets, and let's hope for a good weekend from both of these teams.